I feel tired. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cynic's Log! I know you were looking forward to it, so if you saw last week, then you know I've been sick, and I'm actually finally starting to get over it. Hopefully you can tell. Maybe. It's been like 2 weeks since I got sick, and I'm finally getting over it. Ugh. I feel tired today, so yeah, there's that. Anyway, I had an idea for some new segments, or a new segment at least. I wasn't sure what to talk about today, so we're gonna try that idea out. We're gonna do a segment called Today I Learned. TIL. And it's basically, I spend a lot of time, I wouldn't say a lot of time, I spend some time on the internet reading like news articles and browsing sites like Reddit and stuff. And I thought, some of these things are interesting and the world needs to know about them because so many people watch my videos. So I thought I would try to talk about some interesting articles. Today I have 3. So let's get to them. First article up is it's called Woman Texted Driving Drunk, Woo! Before a Fatal Crash. That's a horrible, horrible thing to laugh at, but it's just the irony, right? According to the article, apparently a woman texted her boyfriend, so they were apparently having kind of a nasty breakup. She goes out on the town with a friend or friends and then gets drunk and drives a rented smart car. A smart car, which is wholly ironic for what she did in a smart car, something pretty dumb. And she ended up T-boning an old guy, or an older guy, 51-year-old dude, in a truck. And it killed her friend who was in the car. She was okay, but she had a friend in the car with her who apparently, unfortunately, died. So that sucks. Let that be a lesson to you about drunk driving and being stupid and letting your emotional affairs get in the way of your better judgment. Right? Because it may not hurt you, it can hurt somebody you care about. And that is where it really stings and stinks, right? That's not good. So what makes me wonder is, did she blame her boyfriend for the crash? Because she was texting him, like, trying to get back at him and stuff. So was she like, this is your fault, my friend's dead because of you? Because she could have been, and that would be bad. That would be wrong. On to the next article. All right, so the next article we have today is about a dog survival story. All right, title: cattle dog survives 4 months lost at sea. You interested yet? So, according to the article, in November 2008, an Australian cattle dog called Sophie Tucker, named after someone famous that I can't pronounce. He or she fell overboard in bad weather while sailing with her owners off the coast of Queensland, Australia. They were sailing, a bad storm set upon them, and during the ordeal where they're trying to keep the vessel afloat in the storm, I guess, they turn around, and then the dog is gone. You imagine how horrible that would be? Like, you got your dog, you're like, yeah, we're sailing to the wherever, and this is gonna be great. We got our dog, and then you don't. Then the dog's gone. It's great, right? Let's scroll down here to where the good stuff happens, all right? Because the dog survived. I don't know if you caught that from the beginning, but the dog survived. They say what they thought was like maybe an hour after, I guess, everything cleared, but they couldn't find her. Seems like an hour is not really that long, but, you're probably, they didn't expect that she would make it. So the dog managed to swim 5 nautical miles through the turbulent, shark-infested waters to St. Bees Island. She swam 5 nautical miles. I don't know how far that is, but it sounds pretty far. I don't know how nautical translates, whatever, but she swam a long way and then found an island, somehow not getting eaten by a shark. I guess maybe sharks don't like dog meat. So she was on the island for 16 weeks, and she fended off starvation by hunting wild baby goats and drinking rainwater. So then after 4 months of surviving that way, she was captured by rangers patrolling the island. So fortunately, I guess it was an island that was inhabited or people go to at some point in time. Anyway, they thought she was a wild dog. But it turns out it was Sophie! Isn't that interesting? Isn't that a crazy story? So after all that amount of time, she became wild and vicious, as they say. She wouldn't let anyone go near her, touch her. She wouldn't take food from anybody. She was pissed. All right? She was an angry dog. Her family just let her go overboard, and they just abandoned her, and she had to survive on her own. She was a regular castaway.
Wilson!
She did that stuff. I don't know if she had a ball, but I'm sure she wouldn't have been as mad if she had one. So that's article number 2, and our final article. I'm gonna go ahead and load this up here. All right, more trees than there were 100 years ago. It's true! That's how they worded the title of the article. I don't know if it's, needs that much enthusiasm. In the United States, right? We're talking about the United States here. It contains 8% of the world's forests. Doesn't sound like a lot. There are more trees than there were 100 years ago. Forest growth nationally has exceeded harvest since the 1940s. By 1997, the forest growth exceeded harvest by 42%. I had to burp. By 42%, volume of forest growth was 380% greater than it had been in 1920. Mostly on the East Coast, with the average volumes of wood per acre almost doubling since the 50s, it was the most heavily logged area by European settlers beginning in the 1600s, soon after their arrival. So those jerks come over here, start harvesting the trees in the 1600s, and now it's 2015 or whenever this article was posted, and we're just now, overcoming the damage. Jerks. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, all right? We're not out of the global warming climate change frying pan just yet. There's an issue of quantity over quality. And basically, I'm not going to read this. I'm tired of reading the article. I done read it. So, basically what it says, since there's conservation, I guess, and we're trying to regrow forests, a lot of the forests that we have are young forests, and they don't provide the habitat for wildlife and stuff like that a mature forest would. So it's not quite as beneficial as it would be if we just had the old stuff. And it's the reason why we need to protect the old mature stuff that we do have still left over. So the question here is, since there's more forests, does that lessen the chance of a tree falling and no one being there to hear it? Something to think about. I'm just saying. They always say that, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. So, if there's more forest and the population is going up, they're going to have to work harder to make sounds, I guess. Alright, guys, I hope that was enjoyable, and hope you liked those articles and things and stuff. And I guess it's time for
Cynic's Inner Thoughts!
So this week, I wasn't sure what to talk about. I have a list that I keep of things that I'd be interested to talk about, and I look at it every time, and I'm just I can't talk about this. I don't know what to talk about. I'm just gonna go with one of them and see what we can get out of it. All right. What I have a pet peeve about this week, I don't know if it's a proper term. I've never researched the term, but the nanny state, I guess you might say. people looking to the government to make everything okay and make everybody happy and stuff. I don't like that kind of thing. It's kind of annoying to me. It's like being in kindergarten and running to the teacher is he hit me or she hit me, always wanting somebody to do something about something, right? It kind of makes the average adult an infant or a toddler when everyone wants to pursue like legal action or some kind of government action against someone who offended them. I mean, there's obviously, more bigger issues that, this can kind of correlate to, but for me, it's like even just on the smallest level. People, you can't say certain things, you can't like do certain things. It's not really anything that's a crime or that really hurts anyone or does anything. It's just like a group of people have decided that this is offensive or wrong, even though it's more or less inconsequential or ineffectual or whatever. And it's like, it's just more or less, it's basically like somebody saying, you hurt my feelings, and trying to make the government make a law to say that you can't do it anymore. Right? I'm not explaining this very well, but basically the point that I'm trying to make is that like people become offended. They have an emotional reaction to something that's negative and they don't want to feel that way anymore, right? Obviously nobody wants to be made to feel bad, but it's okay to be offended. Like maybe, you need some personal growth or something to not be affected by something or whatever, but the bottom line is if you're going to be offended, that's okay. Be offended. Don't worry about, people condemning you for being offended. The thing is like you can't look at being offended as justification for actions that affect others. Is that a good way to put it? I don't really know how to word it, but it's like, if I'm offended by something, I don't want to go and like make rules for everybody else just because I was offended by something. It's kind of a selfish action, in my opinion, to let your personal feelings about something make you try to change the rules for everybody. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that this applies to. Like, I'm not going to go into it right now, but you have things like gun control and like hate crimes and things like that. And like hate crimes, it's kind of like, to me, that's kind of like a dumb thing to do. Like if something's wrong to do, like if you hurt somebody, then it's wrong no matter what gender or what ethnicity or whatever, right? Like how is it bad to do it to someone who's different and less bad to do it to someone who's similar or the same? It doesn't make any sense to make that distinction, not in my opinion. I'm doing a horrible job at elaborating on this. I just wanted to get it out there, I guess. Just put the idea out there. Maybe if there's any further discussion on it, we'll flesh it out and we'll talk about it some more, or I don't know. Anywho, the point that I'm trying to make is, if I keep saying that, it's just, you have to take responsibility for the disposition that you have towards something, right? Like if something bothers you, then that's fine. Like you can have that opinion, but maybe not everybody is bothered by it. Maybe not everybody who offends you with something means it in a way that's intended to offend you and affect you like on a deep personal level. Maybe some people have a higher threshold. Some people have like a higher threshold for pain, right? Some people have a higher threshold for food they don't like. Some people might throw up if they taste something they don't like, whereas someone else can taste something completely disgusting and hold it down, right? So like to say that I was offended by something, or we have a group of people who are equally offended, doesn't mean that there's not a group of people who are equally not offended. So to pursue action from authority, to enforce your will on someone else, to make them conform, is usually exactly what people are offended by to begin with. So they're doing the same thing, but as long as they think they're doing it in the name of fairness or neutrality or goodness, whatever, then they think their version is okay. But to me, in my opinion, that is not equality. So there's that. I probably could have said 100 things that different ways and stuff that would have made that a lot better, but I couldn't think of it, so I apologize. Anywho, we're running a little long today, and I'm going to get going. If you have any thoughts on that and you want to further the discussion, feel free to bring it up. Maybe I'll try to flesh out the idea and present it a little better next time, but it is what it is. That's it for me. Thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked what you saw and what you heard. Well, what you saw. You didn't see much except for me. I know you didn't like that. Anyway, hope you liked what you heard, what we talked about and stuff. Links are in the description for all the articles that I mentioned, if you'd like to read them for yourself in a less dumb way that I read them and talked about it. Alright? It's down there. And that's it for me. So, until next week. Hopefully next week if I continue to be consistent with these videos. I'll see you guys later. Bye!